What's up, Internet? I have a little bit of time today, so I was just going to go on kind of a short ride, and I wanted to do just a short video on how I came up with my YouTube channel name, 3-Shot Rocky. And it's kind of a stupid name, I know, and I kind of wish in a way I didn't use it, but I did. So there's actually a story behind the name, and I talked about it in the first video I ever did, which, quite frankly, I look back on and I think, God, that it was bad. But, you know, I don't know that any of my videos are really any good. I mean, I just solely do this for my own entertainment. I really don't care if I have 5 subscribers or 100. I just doing this because it entertains me, and you know, I'm still learning how to, you know, kind of make these things better as I go. So I don't know that I've really achieved a whole lot of that, but I do know that I've gotten a little bit better from when I first started. So here's where the name comes from. Our kids came home from school one day and told my wife and I that somebody had run over a raccoon. A pizza delivery guy ran over a raccoon and it was still in the street, and this guy just drove off. So we go down to take a look, and sure enough, this thing is all maimed and he's gurgling blood and is obviously suffering. And our neighbor comes down, and I guess she thought it was dead, and then she saw it was still alive, so she didn't want to do anything with it. And so my wife has the brilliant idea that I should just go get my gun and shoot it. And, you know, honestly, at the time, it sounded like a perfectly logical thing. You know, people do that all the time, but we do live in kind of the city, if you will. We're kind of on the outskirts. I mean, we're surrounded by woods and things like that, but we're on a dead-end street. We're off the road far enough. It's not like it's real close to anybody's houses where this happened. So I wasn't too concerned with discharging the firearm in our neighborhood, but you know, it sounded like the thing to do. So I go up and I get my gun, which is a .45 caliber Glock, and I grab a shop towel because my thought process was that if I put a rag over this thing's head and then I shoot it, his brains won't splatter all over me. And I've never shot an animal before, so I didn't know. And so yeah, I come down and I get this thing and I kind of shove him off into the grass. And he can't run away or anything, so he's still suffering. And so I put this shop towel over his head, and I come down and and bam, and pop off around, and this thing jumps up off the ground, probably about a foot, and comes back down, and he's like obviously trying to run away, but he's just like kind of flipping around and he's not going anywhere, and he's snarling and hissing and growling, and I was kind of shocked that that's not what I expected to happen. So I let him settle back down, and I put the rag over his head again, and I try again, and pop off another round. And I was even a little bit closer this time, but the exact same thing. This thing jumps up off the ground, and he lands, and he's, again, trying to run away, but he can't. And so now, not only, is he already suffering, but now I'm torturing him by scaring the hell out of him. And, at this time, I'm, okay, well, you don't know what you're doing here. So I just left the rag out of the equation, and I shot him in the chest, and his mouth opened up, and a puff of smoke came out of his mouth. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's the heat from the bullet going through his lungs, or I don't know. I can't explain the science of why it did that, but it did. And, he was dead at that point. So it's just 3 shots from a .45 caliber to kill a raccoon that already got ran over by a car. And so, that is, to most people, And again, not everybody has the same sense of humor, and I was trying to do the right thing. So it's not like I just was looking for some opportunity to go, popping off rounds into an animal. So, I try to do the right thing, and, that's what happens sometimes. And it just didn't work out like I thought. And in hindsight, I guess I could have beat it to death with a shovel and probably achieved the same results, maybe even quicker. But, so I catch, and have caught and continue to catch all kinds of ridicule and grief over the whole thing. And, people who are, animal lovers and, things like that. I try not to tell that story to people that'll get offended. But if you're on my YouTube channel, then obviously there's no offending you. And that's the story. That's where I came up with the name, Three Shot Rocky. And if you don't know the Beatles song Rocky Raccoon, that's where that part of it came into play. But again, it's kind of a dumb name, but it's a true story. And if I have a sneaking suspicion that when I die, that story will be the story that everyone remembers. And, good for me, I guess. Yeah. Well, that's the story how I came up with my YouTube channel name. It's a true story, and if anybody's looking for a hunting partner, I'm probably not your guy. So on that note, I'm going to call this done. If you liked the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe thing, hit the alarm note, just start selecting a bunch of stuff on the page, click it all.